It's our guest musician who is playing for us entry music today.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello, hello.
Howdy.
That's
Well,
Jennifer.
And I can't play and talk at the same time, apparently.
right.
All right. Well, it is 11:10. We're going to get started. And so this morning, Mike is going to get us started.
Excellent. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us in the spirit of perfect harmony. We are the Center for Spiritual Living, West Georgia. We study and practice the philosophy and science of the mind we know is God. And through our spiritual presence and our participation in our service this morning, we create a higher state of consciousness, rise above any negative energy that prevailed this past week, and manifest love. Love is synonymous to God. Reverend Dr. Sandra Jackson, our master teacher, has been publishing daily inspirational messages throughout the past week, and we appreciate them, and we will now proceed with our service.
Thank you so much, Mike. And so this morning, I would like to welcome everybody, and we begin our service by setting a spiritual tone, a sacred space, so that that sacredness is right where you are. So if you just join me by closing your eyes and turning within, right where you are, knowing that there is neither time nor space in God. And so therefore, regardless of where we are, regardless of who we are, regardless of the time zone that we are living in, then we are all present in the now, in this very moment. We are one with that allness, with that almighty, with that truth that is the very essence and core of our being. And so right here, right now, in this moment, we open ourselves fully and completely, making ourselves available to the indwelling presence of God that is expressing itself individually and collectively as who and what we are. It is that unifying force, source of our being. It is that which is the divinity within each one of us. And it is that oneness that makes us collective, makes us one with each other. It makes us one with everyone and anyone everywhere. And so right here and right now, we simply embrace everyone in our world, those who are known to us and those who are unknown, those who are well and healthy and those who are experiencing dis-ease in the world, regardless of what kind of disease it may be. We are knowing right here and right now that each and every one of us, regardless of our physical human condition, we are whole, we are perfect, we are complete, and we are divine expressions of the living God. And so we know this about each of us. We know it about our community, and we know it about everyone in our world. And so in this truth, I know it to be the truth as I release it now into the law and allow it to be expressed in our lives this day. I know that our service is one that uplifts, inspires, and allows each one of us to receive that which we have come to receive. We have ears to hear and eyes to see and a heart that is open, filled with love and rejoicing in the moment as we gratefully give thanks for this truth, for this awareness, and for this life. And so it is. Amen. Okay, Marcia will do our vision and mission.
Good morning.
Good morning.
CSL West Georgia is a joyful global community where everyone belongs. Through our unique spiritual teachings, we provide a safe environment to experience compassionate living. And our declaration of principles: I believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. There is one life which I am a part, one intelligence which I use, one substance which takes form as my life.
Thank you so much, Marcia. And so I'm going to allow Cynthia to introduce our musician for today. You're muted, Cynthia. Yeah, can't hear you.
Hey,
There we go.
we have a friend of mine and a very well-respected musician, Jennifer Ferren, with us this morning. I have her CD here, Spectacular, that I keep in my car and I listen to. Jennifer is a nationally recognized motivational speaker and musician. She was a New Thought music director for over 20 years and part of the Unity Worldwide Ministries National Music Ministry team. And we're so happy to have her this morning. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you. And I'm going to do a song that is normally a call and response song. So most of your mics are going to be muted. So I'm going to ask you to sing along if you're at home and you want to have a little fun and vocalize today. It's an affirmative song. And the tagline is, I know it's so, and so it is. And the "and so it is" thing I picked up from CSL years and years ago. And that's what prompted. So even though I'm more of a Unity person, just for logistics reasons, I love guesting in on the CSL circuit too. And it's nice to see everyone. I haven't been with you guys for quite some time. So here's a song called I Am Empowered. Some of you may have already sung this with me. I am empowered, strong, and full of life. Can you sing it? I am empowered, strong, and full of life. I know it's so, and so it is. Amen. I am amazing, filled with sacred sight. I am amazing, filled with sacred sight. And I know it's so, and so it is. Amen. Oh, I'm grateful for the beauty that surrounds me every day. And I'm a miracle unfolding, and I'm guided on my way. I'm grateful and I'm happy. You know, I got a smile on my face. And I'm open to the grace of love that fills all time and space. I am empowered, strong, and full of life. I am empowered, strong, and full of life. And I know it's so, and so it is. And I know it's so, and so it is. And I know it's so, and so it is. Amen. I hear air clapping. I can't hear your hands, but I can see them.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And so it is. Absolutely. Thank you. That's perfect. This morning, well, let me tell you this before Floyd does the reading. This month, all of the readings are stories, and they are from spiritual traditions. So you might want to pay real close attention because some of them have a little kick at the end. Okay, Floyd.
All right. Well, this morning's reading is a story from the Sufi tradition. And so Mullah Nasruddin was sitting in a tea shop when a friend came excitedly to speak to him. I'm about to get married, Mullah, his friend stated, and I'm very excited, Mullah. Have you ever thought of marriage yourself? And Nasrullah replied, I did think of getting married. In my youth, in fact, I very much wanted to do so. I waited to find for myself the perfect wife. I traveled looking for her first to Damascus. There, I met a beautiful woman who was gracious, kind, and deeply spiritual, but she had no worldly knowledge. So I traveled further and went to Isfahan. There, I met a woman who was both spiritual and worldly, beautiful in many ways, but we did not communicate well. Finally, I went to Cairo, and there, after much searching, I found her. She was spiritually deep, graceful, and beautiful in every respect, at home in the world and at home in the realms beyond it. I felt I had found the perfect wife. And his friend questioned further, "Then did you not marry her, Mullah?" "Alas," said Nasruddin as he shook his head, "she was unfortunately waiting for the perfect husband."
I love that story. I just totally love that story. That's why I got it for you this month. I thought we could begin with a laugh, but it has a truth to it that we are talking about today. This month, our theme is Cosmic Connections, and today's talk is titled Just Like Me. You know, years ago, self-help books started telling people how to attract a mate. That was when they were first beginning to understand the law of attraction in the wider world. And so they would tell you to make a list of all the qualities that you wanted in your partner. Okay. And sometimes they had you make a vision board with, you know, all these qualities and everything on them. Well, some people attracted and some people didn't. But the thing is that after a while, they started to realize, because some people were not getting who they wanted, they started to realize that you have to become the person that you want to attract. So if you make, let's say you want to attract somebody and you make a list of 50 qualities, okay? You've got these 50 qualities. Now you have to go back and look down those lists and say, is that me? So if your qualities is someone who loves themselves, and you have to say, do I love myself? Do you see what I'm saying? So, you know, the thing is that we think that opposites attract, and people tell us that all the time, right? And opposites do attract. The thing is they don't have lasting relationships. Why? Because people aren't willing to give the other person the space to be themselves. And if you're going to be with someone who is opposite, then you have to say, you know what, you can be the way you are, I'll be the way I am, and we'll accept each other and live together. So that's sort of like somebody likes to sleep in on Saturday mornings, and somebody else likes to take, you know, the Saturday mornings to do all the little things that you didn't get done during the week. So you've got two opposite people. You have two people doing opposite things. One's getting up and moving, and the other one's laying in bed. So you have to accept the other person, whatever it is they're doing. And what usually happens is the person who's laying in bed says, you know, you should really stay in bed with me. And the one who's getting up and doing things is saying, you know, I really could use your help. So what happens is you have this conflict, right? So if you're going to live with someone who is opposite, you have to be willing to allow them, to accept them as they are. But most of us, we're not into that. And so the question is, why is it that we're not into doing stuff like that? So I want to explain it by giving you some little examples. So I have a dog, and she has, I have well, actually right here where I am, I have a mirrored cabinet, right? And there's mirrors all the way down on all sides. And every once in a while, she'll come and look at herself in the mirror, and she'll like, look, and it's like, look, it's like, there's another dog there. When she was younger, she would do that, and then she'd paw at it, or she'd bark, trying to get, you know, trying to get it to respond to her. And it never did. Why? Because it's a mirror image. And she didn't understand that. And here's the thing, you and I, when we come into this world, we don't understand that when we look in the mirror, we're seeing ourselves either. We're just like that dog, but we have consciousness, and so we eventually learn. But who are our mirrors before we start understanding? Our mirrors are our parents, our grandparents, all of our other relatives. If we're not the oldest, then our older siblings, and all the people who are around us and look at us and go, oh, aren't you so cute? Okay. But then they also have what? All these ideas about who you will be and what you're supposed to become. So that's some of the argument that people are having right now is that they present physically as a boy or a girl, and parents start treating them in that way. And then they grow up and go like, I don't feel like that inside. Well, I don't want to get into all of that, but the point is that we're all getting reflections from our world as to who we are expected to be. Okay. And people look at us and make decisions about who we're going to be or who we are. And then they continue to lay that on us. And that's what they reflect back to us. So the father finds out he has a boy. What's the first thing he does? Runs out to the sports store and gets a football, right? And the mother runs and gets a what? Doll. So the boy gets a football and the girl gets a doll. And then when they're 10 years old, the girl goes like, well, I would really like to play football. People go, no, you're a girl. You don't get to play football. And the whole society says that. Do you understand? So the whole society, our whole community of people that we're around and the world in which we live is constantly telling us, this is who you are. Don Miguel Ruiz wrote a book called The Four Agreements several years ago. Maybe some of you heard of it and know of it. Well, he also wrote a companion book to it. And in it, he says, well, he calls these beginning years domestication. He says, during the process of domestication, we form an image of perfection in order to try to be good enough. We create an image of how we should be in order to be accepted by everybody, but we don't fit this image. So here's the thing. We were all told something when we were growing up. I was told I was smart. I am smart, by the way. Okay, but I was told that I was smart. And along with that, why were they telling me that? Because they wanted me to go to college. So the message that I got all the time is you're smart, you're college material, you're smart, you're college material. It came in different ways, but that was always how it came. Now, why was it so important that I went to college? Because my mother, who is my primary caregiver, went to college. She went to Howard University for a year. And then the war broke out. World War II broke out. And she had to quit. She never finished college. And so who got the mantle to finish college? I did. You see? That's what they do to us. Now, maybe I would have decided to go to college on my own. I'm not saying that I wouldn't. My sisters did not, though. I'm the oldest. They're the other two. They piddled around a little bit with college, but neither one of them finished a degree of any sort. I'm the only one because I was the one who got that message. I was the oldest, and I was the one who's told, this is what you will be. And, the thing is that this is done to us, and we don't even know who we are until we're 2 or 3 years old. We look in the mirror and go like, oh, that's me. If you've ever taken any classes where they have shown you pictures of little kids when they're starting to know who they are, and they look in the mirror and they, oh, that and this are the same. Okay. But our lives are more like living in a house of mirrors. So have you ever been to a fun house where they have those distorted mirrors, right? You go into the mirror, right? And you see yourself, but it's a distortion of yourself. Now think of it like this. You come into this world, you are whole, perfect, and complete. You are loving and open and receptive, and people start telling you, you are this, and you are that, and you are the other, and you think this is who you're supposed to be. So that's where he's saying that you're trying to be the way other people want you to be. So you spend 2 or 3 years doing this. Okay? But what are they? They're distortions. Stop and think about that. They're distortions. It's like every person has something different in mind for you. They see something different for you. Okay? They don't all see the same thing. They may not even talk about what they see, but they don't all see the same thing. And you're not getting the same thing from each one of them. So whatever it is you are getting is a distortion. And that's what Don Miguel is talking about. That's what he's saying here. We have this whole community that is telling us who we are going to be. They're not telling us who we are. They're not even asking us who we are. For the most part, they don't even give us time to determine who we are. Instead, they start telling us who we are from the very beginning. Excuse me. So here's the thing. There is such a thing as called the law of reflection, and we all know it. We call it different names. We call it karma. We call it what goes around comes around. We call it you get what you give. Emerson called it, if you want to be a friend, if you want to have a friend, be a friend. We've all used these at one time or another. And every time when we're doing it, we're telling you that we're saying the metaphysical law of reflection. Whatever we reflect into the law comes back to us. So if we are walking in a hall of mirrors with distortions, let's say those mirrors are the people in our world, okay? We walk up to them, and what do they see? Or what do we see? We see a distortion of ourselves because they demonstrate back to us what they think we are. Do you understand what I'm saying? So here's the thing. Let's take Mullah, not Struden. He goes looking for a perfect wife. He has ideas about what the perfect wife is going to be. And so he looks and he looks and he looks and he looks, and everything reflecting back to him is what? His own distortions. Okay? It's reflecting back his beliefs. It's reflecting back his own deficits. And so when he finally finds somebody who is perfect, because what? She fits all the images that he has put out in his mind that says this is who is this is what perfection looks like. When he puts all that out in his mind, he can find somebody and they go like, no. You don't fit my idea of perfection. Do you see? Because we're always looking for somebody who's perfect. And Don Miguel says what has happened is we have rejected those parts of ourselves. And so those rejected parts are the parts we're out there looking to fill with perfection in other people. Do you see? It's sort of like we have this hole, which is says this piece of me, I'll put my hands up a little higher. This piece of me is something that is rejected. And so I am looking for someone who is perfect and can fill that place of me that's rejected. And this is why spiritual teachers tell you what? You have to learn self-love. Because with self-love, you fill that place. And when you come to meeting someone else, you are what? You're bringing your whole self. You're bringing a loving self. You're bringing something that has an ability to give in a way that you want to receive. So what happens if I put my hands like this? Somebody else, which unfortunately I don't have anybody here, but somebody else could do what? They could come put their hand on top of me, right? And it would be flat hands against flat hands. But if I've got them cupped, right? If they have flat hands, guess what? I am not getting filled. I mean, I know that this is distant learning, but do you get it? Okay. We have to have flat hands. We have to be filled in order to attract somebody else who is also filled. Now, in our world, we're having a lot of dis-ease right now. Ernest Holmes says, dis-ease is impersonal. he says, during the process, oh, wait, that's the wrong page. Should have numbered these. Okay, he says, dis-ease is impersonal. The word dis-ease means lack of ease, dis-ease, abnormal, an absence of a normal condition. In order to do his work, it is necessary for the practitioner to know that disease is not an entity, any more than darkness, which is the absence of light, is an entity. From the standpoint of the mental practitioner, disease is an impersonal thing attempting to operate and personify itself. However, a conviction in the mind of the one who has it, and of course, an actual experience to the one who's suffering from it. So what he's saying there, very simply, is that people who are sick believe they are sick and they are experiencing being sick. Okay? We do not deny that they are sick and that they're experiencing disease. Whether disease is physical or it's financial or it's in relationships, it's jobs or whatever dis-ease is abnormal to what? The spirit. We do not deny that people are having these experiences. However, when we do treatment, we remove ourselves from that physical and we acknowledge the perfection. He says, so we recognize disease, imperfection as a human condition, but when we pray about it, it does not exist because we are in prayer dealing with a perfect God, which is perfectly being expressed in the person as perfect health. So let me tell you a story. I had a woman years ago in my church, one of our members, who had a heart attack. And her daughter called me one afternoon just frantic because the ambulance had come and taken her mother to the hospital. And she was, they were on their way to the hospital. She had followed in her car and she was on her way to the hospital and she was scared to death. And so she called me and I was at least 45 minutes away, more maybe with the traffic and all, because it was later in the afternoon. California traffic, okay? Anyway, so I finally got there, but I prayed all the way to the hospital, all the way. When I got there, I saw her. She was in the bed. She was relaxed. She was lucid. She talked to me. I talked to her. We did some more prayer. I talked to her daughter, and then I left. And I went home, and a day or so later, they called and said she was fine. She was out of the hospital, no problem. And her daughter said something to me along the lines of, oh, Reverend Sandra, I'm so glad you were there because it just scared me so much I've never seen my mother in that condition with all those tubes and all that medical stuff they had. I just was so scared. And I was like, what medical stuff? And she's like, explained, all the things the doctors had in there, all the stuff they do for monitoring heart attacks, and they put tubes in you and blood and all that stuff, everything. I saw none of it. I mean, I literally did not see any of it. That is because I was looking for the perfection. Do you see? I expected to see her well when I got there. I did not expect to see, tubes and everything and all the stuff that you see in a hospital. Now, did that happen when my grandmother got hurt? No. When my grandmother got hurt and she was in the ICU and she was, had 3 broken ribs and a punctured lung and she's 103 years old. I was not seeing the perfection. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why even ministers and practitioners call on other people to pray for them so that they can see the perfection when you cannot. And people get sick all the time. Do they call the minister and say, I'm sick, would you pray for me? Would you see the perfection in me? No, they just suffer. And then come back 3 weeks later, go, oh yeah, I was so sick. Well, why didn't you call me? Well, I didn't want to bother you. Do y'all realize that instead of taking 3 weeks, if you had asked for prayer, it might have taken 1 week, or it might have gone away instantaneously. You know, here's the thing. We don't allow ourselves to align ourselves with the perfection. We get so involved in what's going on in the physical level with those images, those distorted images that were given to us when we were too young to say, I don't think that's a good image for me. You know, I mean, we could have said it, but we didn't because we didn't know any better at the time. We know better now. We know better. We know now that the things that people say to us, I mean, we've all had people say, well, you think this, or you are like that. And we go like, no, that's not me. I don't know where you got that idea from. They got it from their own distorted idea of you. We have to learn that we are getting reflections in the world of that which we are putting into it, and it is reflecting back to us what we are putting into it. We have to learn that other people are just like me, experiencing distortions of themselves. None of us, unless we are doing the work of seeing the perfection in ourselves, none of us are seeing who we truly are. So if you image yourself as a rejection or someone that you reject, the creative law of mind will reflect back to you that rejection. So whatever distorted beliefs, thoughts, attitudes that you have about yourself will be reflected back to you, just like the distortion in the hall of mirrors. So that's why when you're doing spiritual teachings, what do we teach you to do? Get rid of the fear. Because if you are fearful, you will reflect back more fearful experiences. You'll reflect to yourself those experiences that are fearful. If you have a family who has a whole history of cancer, then you have to what? Get rid of that belief that cancer is hereditary and that you will be a part of that. There are lots of people walking around who's everybody in their family has cancer and they don't have it. Why? Because somewhere in their mind, they did not accept that idea of having a cancerous body. Do you see? Each one of us has to do this work for ourselves. I cannot do it for you. I can pray for you, but you have to accept it. And the woman I told you about it, she didn't want to be sick. She didn't want to have a heart problem. And so therefore, guess what? She got well. She got well. Scared her. But maybe all that was just to have the experience of learning that prayer works. I don't know what her situation was. I know it was pretty enlightening for me because that was the first time I had gone someplace and not seen something that was there according to other people. Do you see? Such is life. What goes around comes around. We've all said it. We've all said it at one time or another. Or karma. We've all said it. We all know that truth. We absolutely know it. And yet at the same time, we keep doing what? Avoiding it. So today I want to end with us remembering that other people are just like us. That they too are having, similar experiences of happiness and rejection and love and light and problems and difficulties and successes, along with all of the failures and everything else. So if you just sit back in your seat and relax, we're going to do what's called a just like me mantra. So you sit back, you close your eyes, you relax, and then you say to yourself what I say to you. Just repeat it back to yourself. And then just keep your eyes closed. When we're finished, then I will go right into our spiritual mind treatment to close our service. Okay? All right, sit back and relax, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Think of someone in your life that that you would like to think about at this time. It could be somebody that you're having difficulty with, or somebody that you love, anybody that you would like to, but just put somebody in your mind to think about as you do this activity. Just like me, you are seeking some happiness in your life. Just like me, you are trying to avoid suffering in your life. Just like me, you have known sadness. Just like me, you want to be loved. Just like me, you were once an innocent child. Just like me, you are a spirit on a journey. Just like me, you are divine and spiritually perfect. And so we take these words into a conscious realization, acknowledgement, and awareness that this is the truth of each one of us. There is that which shows up as the human and is involved with all the beliefs and attitudes and distortions. And yet, at the very center and core of our being, that place where we know truly who we are, where we know unequivocally that there are no distortions in this place, for we are perfect, we are complete, we are divine, we are love, we are peace, we are wisdom and creativity, because we are all that God is as us. And so we open our hearts and minds right here and right now to be fully and completely accepting of this truth as ourselves, and not only for ourselves, but for the person that we have been thinking of as well. We are knowing that just like us, they too are a spiritual being, having a physical human experience and living with all the distortions that physical life brings with it. But it is not the truth of us. The truth is our perfection. The truth is our wholeness. The truth is our love. And it is unlimited in who we can love, in where we can love, in how we can love, and how we love ourselves. There is no limit. There is no barrier. There is only the boundless experience of divine love that we are always have access to by simply turning within and knowing that it is who we are. And so I am knowing that this day, we not only know this for our truth for ourselves, but we know for everybody in our world, for all those who are ill today with the virus or anything else, we are knowing in this very moment that they are whole, perfect, and complete, that the divinity that they came into this life with is the same divinity that they have been living with throughout their spiritual journey on this earth, and that they are completely whole and complete this day in this moment, whether it appears to be that or not. That the truth of them is wholeness. Just like this woman, she was whole, perfect, and complete, even though she was she was experiencing being in a hospital bed. We are knowing in this moment that the truth is always, always, always perfection. The truth is always life-giving. The truth is always love. The truth is always peace and understanding and wisdom and creativity and joy. And so we allow ourselves now to fully and completely bask in that truth, knowing it, believing it, accepting it for ourselves and for anyone else in the world. This life, this one life, is the one life of God expressing around the world in humanity, in nature, in the earth itself, in the sun, the moon, the stars, and every insect that is. All of it, all the flowers, the trees, all of nature is one with us and one with God. There is no separation and no division. And so this day we hold this truth. We hold it in our hearts, we hold it in our mind, and we allow it to be the expression of our life, so that as we open our eyes and live our lives this week, we experience the wholeness, we experience the perfection. What we see reflected to us in our world is that which is the most perfect expression of the divinity that we can possibly imagine at that moment. And every moment, we are opening more and more and more, being more and more receptive with gratitude and thanksgiving for this so much being the expression of our lives. I am knowing this truth for each one of us right here and right now. And if you can accept it in your own heart, just say right now to yourself, I accept. I accept the love. I accept the perfection. I accept the divine operating in, through, and as me in all aspects of my life. And the wholeness and perfection of God expresses itself as who and what I am right here and right now. I see those perfections. I live those perfections. And I allow myself to see it in others. And so with gratitude and thanksgiving for this and so much more, I release this word now into the law of mind, knowing that it is done before the word was even spoken, for already all things are already known in the mind of God. And so we reflect this week only that which is good, only that which goes good goes from us, and only good comes to us. And so we are blessed. And I release this word now and know it is done with gratitude and thanksgiving, and so it is. Amen. Let's have some music, Jennifer.
Right. One of your last things that you said was, I accept, and you almost said expect. And
No.
I love that, because Richard McDeesey says that a lot, one of our Unity music guys. Expect the best. And so accepting and expecting kind of go hand in hand. So this song that I'm about to sing for everybody was written for me as a message to myself, because exactly what Reverend Sandra was just talking about, we're also juggling our threefold being of body, mind, and our connection with spirit. So we're juggling that every day too. And so this is a song called Body, Mind, and Spirit, about affirming that we are more than we think we are. It's who we know we are that counts, right? When I think I'm only human, and that's what I choose to see, Well, I'm living in illusion. I got chains binding me. And when I feel that I am limited by my physicality, well, no, a part of me knows better, and that part will set me free. 'Cause I'm more than I think I am, and I'm more than I know I can be, yeah. I'm body, mind, and spirit, and I choose to live in harmony. Now when I buy into the drama, and I believe those lies I hear, well, those are things that do not serve me. They just hold me in my fear. Yeah. But when I know that I am worthy, and I'm the best that I can be, well, I know a part of me knows better, and that part will set me free. Because I'm more than I think I am, more than I know I can be, yeah. I'm body, mind, and spirit, and I choose to live in harmony. And every day I'm learning better to feel the love inside of me. Because I love will lead to balance and my true equality, yeah. Because I am more than I think I am, more than I know I can be, yeah. I'm body, mind, and spirit, and I choose to live in harmony. I'm body, mind, and spirit, and I choose to live in harmony. Oh, yeah. Thank you, everybody. I love you guys.
Thank you so much. That was so perfect. What a perfect ending. That's great. Thank you. Okay, so Marcia, it's your turn.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Now see, I put the information in the chat window, but I didn't click enter. So you guys don't have it yet, but you'll have it in a second. Offering time is, we have a number of ways that you can support our center. The 3 ways that you can choose to give, if you would like to give electronically, you can use PayPal. And there will be a link in the box for you to click on, or you can get it from your newsletters or from the website, and then it will take you to a page where you can donate. If you feel more comfortable mailing a check, you can mail it to our mailing address. There again, it is going to be in the chat window in a minute. It is in the newsletter, and you see it on screen. And I always like to suggest that if you are currently an Amazon shopper, you can click our connection link to Amazon, and this is Amazon's way to have charitable giving. By the amount of money that you spend with Amazon, Amazon will give a portion of that total back to the center. So let us go ahead and come together and believe that I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, our community, and our world. So it is.
Okay, thank you, Marcia. Okay, so thank you, Jennifer, once again for being with us today. If you go on to our email for today's service and this month's service, her website is there, and you can purchase her CD that Cynthia was saying that she listens to all the time. Obviously, if she listens to it all the time, it's worthy of being listened to. And I want to tell you something. It is really good to just put, in your car or wherever you happen to be, and be listening to music that is uplifting, because it helps you. It helps these messages, in our spiritual thoughts and ideas to get into you in a way that 20 minutes on a Sunday just doesn't do. This allows it to go through the week. So thank you so much. Yes. So is that song on there? The empowerment song that you just sang?
Not on that CD. It's on,
Not on that CD? Oh,
it's
well,
on
yeah.
the Body, Mind, and Spirit CD. It's the title track to
Oh, okay. All right.
CD.
So now you have to buy 2 CDs. Okay, so once again, thanks again. And I know this is short notice, but we decided it after church last week that we would have potluck this Sunday. So if you got the email and opened it up, you saw an announcement for a potluck. And if you didn't, stay around anyway. We have fellowship, and if you have something to eat, fine. If you don't and you just want to watch everybody else eat, that's fine too. But hang around for a little while, okay, after service today, and talk. Okay, so speaking of musicians, October 25th, John Stringer is going to be here. And he too is on our email and has a website. So it's on the email. You can check that out. And I'll let Cynthia say something about John if she wants to.
I'm sure Jennifer knows John too. He's just a wonderful musician, and he always has a fabulous message. I've been to a lot of songwriting retreats with him, and you're going to really, really be uplifted by
He's
John
awesome.
Stringer. I promise you that. You're going to enjoy it. That'll be on the 25th.
He's
Yeah,
newly
he's
walking again too.
He's what?
He's walking again too. He had recently had ankle surgery.
Oh,
He's
okay.
mobile and walking, so he's healing. I know he's
Isn't that nice? He don't have to walk for us.
He's gonna be happy to see you guys.
Yes, and we're going to be happy to see him too. All I've heard is good things about him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to be doing the talk that Sunday too.
Oh,
So
cool.
he's going to be talking. And Jennifer, we'll have you come back another time and do talk and music. Okay.
Would love to.
All right. Okay. So a couple of our ministers decided to create a spiritual guide to voting. And they sent it to all of us so that we could use it if we wanted to. I do not want to use it on a Sunday morning. However, if you are interested in a spiritual perspective on voting, put your name in the chat. Just say yes, and I will get in touch with you, and we'll decide on an evening that we can get together and do some of that. I've looked it over. It's really good. It's on values and how to vote your values and what our values are in CSL, and and it just takes a totally nonpartisan spiritual perspective on voting. So, and of course, it encourages you to vote. Ernest Holmes, I don't know if you know it, was a big American. He loved the United States of America, and he really encouraged us to participate in our democracy. So if that's something you're interested in, please do say yes, and I will make sure that you are contacted. We'll do it this week, okay? Because in Georgia, early voting, mail-in voting has already started, but early voting starts on October 12th. So I want to do it
I
this week.
voted yesterday.
Yay, good for you. All right, good enough. All right, so let's see. I think that's our announcements for today. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate your being here. We have a video that's a little bit longer than usual, but I think when you see it, you will see that it's worthy of your staying for a little while and watching it. Marsha?
Hi,
What's your name?
my name is Tyler.
First of all, I love your shoes so much.
Thank you.
How old are you, Tyler?
I'm 11 years old.
So it looks like you have the violin. When did you start
Yes.
playing violin?
Well, I started playing the violin when I was 7 and a half.
And what made you get into playing violin?
I wanted to start playing the violin because I was being bullied in school.
Oh, man.
It's because I had cancer. I almost died.
The doctors came in, said, yeah, he does have cancer. And it was the worst day of my life.
They used to make fun of me and laugh at me because I was different. They would spread rumors to say that my cancer was contagious and they all wanted to stay away from me.
One day, Tyler saw a flyer at his school, and it said, after school program, free violin lessons.
I just didn't want to be the kid with cancer. So now I'm the kid who plays the violin.
You got this. We're rooting for you. Oh, yeah. Simon.
Wow, wow, wow. By the way, before I start, how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling really proud of myself.
And if you don't mind me asking, Tyler, how is your health now?
Well, I've been in remission for almost 4 years.
You know what? You are an extraordinary young man. We hear too many stories about people being bullied, but I can tell you one thing. Most people are bullied because they're better than the people who bully them. You know that? And I think you have such an amazing talent, such a personality, and I would like to say something on your behalf to the bullies. Can I shake your hand? Yeah? You enjoy every moment of this.
Tyler! You are going all the way to the live shows in Hollywood. How do you feel, Tyler?
That young man did not look the distortion of cancer and say, that is me. He said, it is not me. I am a violinist, and that's the truth of me. So I hope that just makes your day. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Marcia, our closing affirmation.
Hold on. Okay.
We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us and only good comes to us. And so it is. Okay, so if you would like to join us for the potluck and fellowship, I am going to find a place to sit down, and we'll just close off your video and your audio, and